Okay, test print in. This is a very thin negative. Not very thin, quite thin, but very contrasty, so there's lots of dead blacks in there. So I've just run with a 15 and a 30-second on the test. Again, this is the old Lith dev. It's still working. There's tones coming up there quite quickly. 45 seconds in. Just switch this about a bit. Just a minute and a half. And we'll pull that to 2. Stop and fix and we'll have a look. But I'm not surprised in the least by this. As I said, it was quite a thin neg, but very contrasty as well. We've got 30 seconds exposure on the bottom there, 15 on the top, but I think that can be printed lighter, quite a bit lighter. The blacks will stay black. So I think what I'll do, I'll go 15 seconds, but I'll close the lens down a half a stop, and we'll do another test strip and see where we go from there. I've got to change of plan on that one actually. Instead of closing down a half a stop at 15 seconds, I've closed down a full stop, but I've done a double test strip again with a 10-second and a 20-second exposure. So we're bouncing around somewhere in between the two previous test strips. If there's anything hanging back in the highlight, we can extend the dev just that little bit, even on the test strip, as long as we retain those changes on the final print. We're in a minute, 1 minute into the dev time. This developer is still quite active, obviously, because the tones are still coming up pretty quick, and I think I'm seeing some more pleasing tones coming up in here, much more what I expected, or much more what I would have liked from this negative. It's looking like the 20-second exposure is preferable. The 10-second exposure is looking quite muddy down there. The 20 seconds is looking about right. And we're exactly 2 minutes into the dev again. I'm going to pull that. Let's keep our dev time consistent. Stop. Fix. Well, there we have it. A 10-second exposure, definitely a washout. This is, as I said, this is much more what I was looking for from this negative. So we'll jump straight in and we'll do a full size print at that. 20 seconds, 2 minute dev. 30 degrees on the developer, and we're still using that old LD20. This developer has now been in the slot processor for getting on for about 18 hours. And this is the second lot of subsequent prints, only one per session, but it's the second lot of subsequent prints that we've done through this dev, so it's holding up remarkably well. So full print it is. Full size print, we're looking at a 2 minute dev time, thereabouts. Those tones came up lovely on that 20-second exposure. Hopefully this should run through exactly the same. I'm waiting for this Lith developer to just die on me, but it's not. The tones are still coming up. And we're still just coming up to 1 minute into the dev time. We're a minute and a half in, and I think that developer is slowing down. But we can let this run a bit further. Okay, so we're on the 2 minutes that we had for the test print. I think this developer is finally dying on us now. Difficult to see in this light, but those blacks seem to be taking a while to develop. They're looking a bit foggy. That can clear out in the fixer. That isn't unusual in Lith development. Okay, 2.5 minutes just over. 2 minutes 45 now, I think. Yeah. No, we'll go for the full 3 minutes. That should do it. Stop. And fix. And we'll have a look at that under the room light. Well, well, well. That's looking good. We'll get that into the fixer tray and have a better look at it. Well, what do you think of that, viewer? That is a gorgeous Lith print. There's so many rich blacks in that print. I've taken it out of the tray. We were picking up quite a few reflections of the background equipment in the darkroom there through those lovely rich blacks. There's a lot of rich blacks in that print. So I've just moved over to the washboard in the darkroom sink, just so we can angle it a little bit better so you can get an unimpaired view. And oh, that is lovely. That's lovely. Gorgeous tones, very much in keeping with the classic car, with the little Minox again. Fantastic little camera. And that's another one done. See you next time, viewer.